From Scarlett Johansson, who sued Disney,
and I'm really happy that no one else will have to deal with what I had to deal with.
to Terrence Howard, who told Disney, to Rachel Zegler, who criticized the movie she was supposed to be promoting.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah. Weird. Here are 20 celebrities who Disney is done with, beginning with the actor whose box office success transformed into one of Hollywood's most bitter divorces, Johnny Depp. For over a decade, Depp embodied the role of Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. This very performance became the cornerstone of a franchise that would go on to gross over $4.5 billion worldwide. And then, the turning point arrived. When allegations of domestic abuse surfaced during his relationship with actress Amber Heard, Disney made a swift and decisive cut. In 2018, before any legal proceedings had concluded, Disney dropped Depp from Pirates 6, effectively ending his association with the franchise. The betrayal cut deep, and in what became one of the most quoted moments of the trial, Depp declared that he would never work with Disney again.
If Disney came to you with $300 million and a million alpacas, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean film.
That is true, Mr. Robinborn.
The legal proceedings would eventually vindicate Depp to some degree. While many expected this victory to open the door for a Disney reconciliation, Disney remained unmoved, essentially confirming that the actor's vow against the company was mutual. If Johnny Depp's split with Disney was dramatic, this next one was downright explosive. Scarlett Johansson. Johansson's relationship with Disney began in 2010 when she first appeared as Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow, in Iron Man 2, after which she became one of the founding members of the Avengers. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Disney released Black Widow simultaneously in theaters and on Disney Plus Premier Access. Coincidentally, the actress's compensation was tied to box office performance through back-end bonuses, and she was estimated to lose approximately $50 million. In July 2021, Johansson fired back with a lawsuit accusing Disney of breaching her contract. Rather than addressing the legal merits of Johansson's case, the company chose to publicly disclose her $20 million salary and labeled the lawsuit sad and distressing. The case was settled in September 2021 for an undisclosed amount, reportedly over $40 million, with both parties issuing statements about their mutual respect and the amicable nature of the resolution. But the damage was done. Johansson's relationship with Disney had been fundamentally altered by the dispute.
And I'm really happy that no one else will have to deal with what I had to deal with. So good.
Moving on to one of the most controversial and politically charged separations in the company's recent history, Gina Carano. When Carano was cast as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, it appeared to be the perfect match. Carano's performance was so well received that Disney had plans for her character to star in a spin-off series called Rangers of the New Republic. But Carano's social media presence was becoming increasingly controversial. Throughout 2020 and early 2021, she posted content that many found politically divisive. The final straw came in February 2021 with a post that would end her Disney career overnight. Carano shared content comparing the treatment of conservatives in modern America to the persecution of Jews during the Holocaust. Disney's response was swift and unequivocal. Lucasfilm, Disney's subsidiary that handles Star Wars properties, released a statement calling her posts abhorrent and unacceptable, and Carano was immediately terminated from all current and future projects. Disney also removed much of her merchandise and marketing materials, effectively attempting to erase her from the franchise. In response, she filed a lawsuit against Disney for wrongful termination and discrimination, alleging that her firing violated her right to free speech. However, a judge dismissed the case in 2024, ruling that Disney had the right to disassociate from talent whose public statements conflicted with company values. Up next is an actor who left Disney after finding out the darker side of the family-friendly entertainment empire, Demi Lovato. Lovato's Disney journey began in 2007 with a small role in As the Bell Rings, but it was her starring role in Camp Rock that truly launched her into the Disney stratosphere. Following the success of Camp Rock, Lovato was given her own series, Sunny with a Chance, which premiered in 2009, and with Lovato playing an optimistic teenager navigating the entertainment industry. The irony of this premise, a show about the pressures of showbiz starring someone experiencing those very pressures, was not lost on those who knew what was happening behind the scenes. The intense schedule and pressure to maintain a perfect public image were taking their toll on the young performer. Disney even asked Lovato to close the gap between her front teeth for marketability reasons. The situation was exacerbated by traumatic experiences that wouldn't come to light until years later. Lovato even developed an eating disorder and began struggling with substance abuse.
My first time doing coke, I was 17, working on Disney Channel, and I was with a couple friends, and they introduced me to it.
Lovato has made it clear that she has no interest in returning to Disney. This next actress has one of the most complex stories with Disney, Miley Cyrus. Hannah Montana premiered in 2006 and quickly became a cultural phenomenon that transcended television and turned Cyrus into one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. But behind the glittering success was a young performer struggling with the psychological toll of living the very double life that made her famous.
But I would have this anxiety attack with a vision attached that I would be strapped down to a gurney, and I thought that was just an anxious vision that made no sense.
The stress on Miley was something else.
5:30 a.m., hair and makeup in my hotel. 7 a.m. we get picked up. 7:15, I'm on the news. 7:45, I have another 8:15, 8:45, another 9:30 till 11 a.m. Then the next day starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 7:30 p.m.
In 2021, Cyrus revealed to Elle magazine that she was taken advantage of and didn't own the rights to her own name. Since she left Disney, Cyrus has built a successful music career that allows her to express her authentic self and has made it clear that her journey with Disney is over.
I'm not gonna do Hannah Montana, but I can give you an update on what she's been up to. She was murdered.
Moving ahead to another actress who walked out after Disney crossed a line, Bella Thorne. Thorne rose to fame as Cece Jones in Shake It Up, a dance comedy series that premiered in 2010 and quickly became one of Disney Channel's most popular shows. The series, which averaged 3.7 million viewers per episode, made Thorne a household name and seemed to set her up for a long and profitable relationship with Disney. But the relationship was troubled from the beginning due to Disney's intense control over her public image. The most shocking example of this control came when Thorne was just 14 years old. She was nearly fired after photos surfaced of her wearing a bikini while on vacation, which Disney deemed inappropriate for her family-friendly persona.
You also have to understand that when you're with Disney, you're judged very harshly, more with fans and the media and what they think of you and how they think you should look.
The working conditions were also problematic. Thorne criticized Disney for overworking young actors, noting 16-hour workdays that led to burnout. After leaving Disney, Thorne has stated that she stopped listening to what studios wanted me to be, signaling a permanent break from Disney's type of control. Here's another actress who also faced the intense demands of Disney stardom, Hilary Duff. Duff's Disney journey began in 2001 with Lizzie McGuire, a show that drew 2.3 million viewers per episode. The success of the series led to the Lizzie McGuire movie in 2003, which grossed $55 million worldwide and seemed to cement Duff's place in the Disney family. But the intense demands of Disney stardom began to take their toll on the young performer. The grueling schedule of balancing acting, music, and global tours led to significant mental health strain, with Duff leaving the spotlight to preserve her sanity. The relationship remained dormant for years until 2019, when Disney Plus announced plans for a Lizzie McGuire reboot, with Duff set to return as an adult Lizzie. The reboot quickly ran into problems due to fundamental creative differences. Duff and showrunner Terry Minsky wanted a mature, realistic portrayal of a 30-something woman, including themes of relationships and career struggles, but Disney insisted on a PG-rated tone to align with their platform's family focus. In 2020, Disney shelved the project after only 2 episodes were filmed. The cancellation highlighted ongoing issues between Duff and Disney regarding compensation and creative control. In a 2021 Variety interview, Duff called the reboot cancellation frustrating and criticized Disney's rigid brand constraints, making it clear that the creative differences were fundamental rather than superficial. Moving ahead to another actor on the list, Shia LaBeouf. LaBeouf's Disney career began with Even Stevens, a comedy series earned him a Daytime Emmy Award. But during his Disney years, LaBeouf felt constrained by the company's approach to developing young talent. He described Disney as trying to mold him into a churn-em-out star, pushing him toward predictable music releases and formulaic roles that clashed with his artistic ambitions. In a 2008 Details interview, LaBeouf was even more explicit about his feelings toward Disney, saying he didn't belong in that machine and describing the company as a factory that didn't value individuality. After leaving Disney, LaBeouf's career choices seemed deliberately designed to distance him from his family-friendly past. As his career progressed, LaBeouf became increasingly interested in experimental and artistic projects that were antithetical to Disney's commercial focus. In a 2019 Hollywood Reporter roundtable, LaBeouf called his Disney days stifling and criticized the company for limiting his creative growth. LaBeouf's personal struggles, including multiple arrests and allegations of abuse, have further distanced him from Disney's family-friendly brand. His controversial behavior and legal troubles have made him a polarizing figure in Hollywood, but they have also reinforced his image as someone who now operates completely outside the Disney system. This next celebrity has a complex relationship with Disney. Selena Gomez. Gomez's Disney journey began with Wizards of Waverly Place in 2007. The show was an immediate hit, running for 4 seasons and earning 3 Emmy Awards. But behind the success was a young performer struggling with the intense pressure to maintain a perfect public image. Gomez has revealed that Disney's expectations forced her to hide her authentic self, contributing to anxiety and eventually leading to a 2016 bipolar disorder diagnosis.
How did you go about learning how to live with bipolar as opposed to suffering from it?
Well, I do the necessary things, you know. I see a therapist. I have tons of workbooks like a nerd. I write music.
The working conditions were equally problematic. Gomez felt overworked, juggling acting, music, and tours simultaneously, which contributed to her breakdown and subsequent rehabilitation. In a 2020 Vogue interview, Gomez was candid about how Disney made her feel forced into a box and that she lost herself trying to please the company's expectations. Since leaving Disney, Gomez has built an empire that prioritizes authenticity and mental health advocacy. Her music career has flourished, and perhaps most significantly, Gomez has used her platform to advocate for mental health awareness. This next actor's relationship with Disney involves a very public rejection of the company that made him famous. Zac Efron. Efron shot to global superstardom with the High School Musical trilogy, beginning in 2006. But fame came with constraints that Efron found increasingly suffocating. The teen heartthrob image that Disney cultivated limited his opportunities and typecast him in ways that threatened his long-term career prospects. In a 2010 Rolling Stone interview, he called the High School Musical era claustrophobic and said Disney's control over his image felt inauthentic. The breaking point came in 2009 when Efron hosted Saturday Night Live and performed a skit that directly mocked Disney.
But I'm not here to talk about last year. I'm here to talk about what happens after you leave East High.
Do you think this is a good idea, Troy?
Back off.
Okay.
Here's the deal. No one sings at college.
What?
Oh, no. And from what I can tell, this is America's only singing high school.
In a 2017 Men's Health interview, Efron admitted he needed to escape Disney's grip to prove his versatility, criticizing the company for pigeonholing him. The strategy worked. Efron's most recent work has taken him even further from his Disney roots. The transformation has been so complete that it's easy to forget Efron's Disney origins. This next actor got pissed when Disney stole from him. Dylan Sprouse. Dylan and his twin brother Cole Sprouse became Disney Channel sensations with The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which premiered in 2005 and quickly became one of the network's most popular shows, averaging 4 million viewers per episode. The success led to a spin-off, The Sweet Life on Deck, and established the twins as 2 of Disney's most valuable young properties. But the Sprouse twins weren't content to simply be performers. They wanted to be creative partners. They sought creative control by pitching ideas and requesting producer credits, but Disney consistently denied them these opportunities.
It's a little weird because then it's like I'm pressuring them into being like, what'd you think?
The final straw came in 2011 when Disney proposed a spin-off series that closely mirrored ideas the twins had previously pitched. The fact that Disney essentially stole their concept without crediting them prompted Dylan to walk away from the company entirely. In a 2017 Vulture interview, Dylan called Disney controlling and said the experience taught him to never trust studios again. Well, Dylan's twin brother had his fair share of feelings towards Disney. Cole Sprouse. Like Dylan, Cole played a central role in Disney Channel's success through The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and its spin-off series. His portrayal of Cody Martin, the studious and responsible twin, provided the perfect counterpoint to Dylan's Zack and helped make the show one of Disney's most successful franchises. But Cole shared his brother's frustrations with Disney's refusal to recognize their creative contributions. Like Dylan, Cole sought producer credits and creative input, but Disney refused these requests. The 2011 spin-off dispute, where Disney essentially plagiarized their ideas without providing credit, was equally devastating to Cole's relationship with the company. In a 2018 Variety interview, Cole called Disney's environment stifling and said it treated them as cogs in a wheel. He felt the company undervalued their contributions despite the franchise's massive success, creating a sense of exploitation that would color his view of Disney for years to come. In a 2021 GQ interview, Cole was even more direct in his criticism, accusing Disney of exploiting child stars. He described the Sweet Life years as intense and said he needed to reclaim his identity after leaving Disney. Cole's public critiques of Disney's exploitative practices and lack of creative freedom, paired with his focus on mature roles and artistic pursuits, make a return to Disney highly unlikely. Next up is one of the earliest Disney relationships to go sour, Kirk Douglas. As Ned Land, Douglas starred in Disney's 1954 adventure epic 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a film that was both a critical and commercial triumph. The movie grossed $28 million worldwide, equivalent to approximately $300 million in today's dollars, and established Disney as a serious player in big-budget filmmaking beyond animation. But the success of the film was overshadowed by a dispute that would permanently sour Douglas's relationship with Walt Disney and his company. During the film's promotional campaign, Disney used unauthorized footage of Douglas and his family, filmed without their consent, for marketing materials. When Douglas complained about this unauthorized use of his family's image, Disney ignored his concerns. In his 1988 memoir, The Ragman's Son, Douglas recounted threatening to sue Disney over the unauthorized footage. His famous quip, "You can't sue God," referred to Walt Disney's seemingly untouchable status in Hollywood, but also revealed Douglas's frustration with the power imbalance. In subsequent interviews, he noted that the Disney experience convinced him to demand contractual control over how his image and likeness could be used in promotional materials. This became standard practice for major stars, but Douglas learned the hard way. The dispute effectively ended any possibility of future collaboration between Douglas and Disney. This next actor brings us back to the MCU. Terrence Howard. In the first Iron Man film in 2008, Howard played James Rhodey Rhodes, a role that was crucial to both the character dynamics and the broader Marvel Cinematic Universe that was just beginning to take shape. When Marvel was acquired by Disney in 2009, Howard's role seemed secure. The success of the first film, which grossed $585 million worldwide, suggested that the core cast would continue into the sequels, but Howard claimed that Disney offered him only $1 million for the sequel, a significant reduction from his original salary, while simultaneously allocating his expected compensation to co-star Robert Downey Jr. In a 2013 appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Howard accused Downey Jr. of betrayal, saying, "He took my money and pushed me out." Howard sued Marvel for breach of contract, but the lawsuit was dismissed by the courts, effectively ending his involvement with the MCU.
I still hear a lot of fans asking, am I going to come back and be War Machine? Yeah, am I going to come back and be War Machine? I think they could have a huge franchise off of it. But
next up is one of Disney's most controversial terminations, Roseanne Barr. Her relationship with Disney began through ABC, which Disney acquired in 1995. Her original sitcom, Roseanne, ran from 1988 to 1997 and was one of ABC's most successful shows, dealing with working-class issues in a way that resonated with millions of American viewers. In 2018, ABC announced a revival of Roseanne, with Barr returning to her iconic role. The 2018 revival drew 18 million viewers for its premiere, making it one of the year's biggest television successes. But the success was short-lived. In May 2018, Barr posted a tweet that would end her Disney career overnight. She posted content comparing Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett to a Planet of the Apes character, a comparison that was widely interpreted as racist. Within hours of the tweet, Disney ABC canceled Roseanne, with CEO Bob Iger calling the tweet repugnant and unacceptable.
You can't say something like that publicly about someone else.
Barr's response to her firing was defiant and revealed the depth of the divide between her and Disney. She claimed the tweet was just a joke and accused Disney of political bias, alleging she was targeted for her conservative views. If you thought hers was harsh, wait till you hear why this next actor was canceled. Mitchell Musso. He played Oliver Oaken, Miley Stewart's best friend, in Hannah Montana from 2006 to 2011, one of Disney Channel's most successful series. He also voiced Jeremy Johnson in the animated series Phineas and Ferb and starred in Pair of Kings on Disney XD. But in October 2011, everything changed when Musso was arrested for DUI at the age of 20. The arrest violated Disney's strict image policies, and the company immediately removed him from Pair of Kings, replacing him with Adam Hicks. Disney also canceled his planned appearances in Hannah Montana, effectively ending his relationship with the company. The severity of Disney's response seemed disproportionate to many observers. Musso was underage for drinking, but legally an adult, and DUI charges, while serious, are unfortunately common in Hollywood. The charges were eventually dropped, but Disney's zero-tolerance stance meant that the arrest itself was sufficient grounds for termination. Musso felt that Disney's reaction was unfair and inconsistent. In a 2015 Hollywood Life interview, he called Disney's response hypocritical, pointing out that other stars had received more lenient treatment for similar or worse behavior. He said, "They made an example of me to scare others," expressing bitterness over losing his career without being given a second chance. Conversely, this next actor was kicked out after multiple strikes. Jake T. Austin. In Wizards of Waverly Place, Austin played Max Russo, the youngest of the Wizard siblings, from 2007 to 2012. The show was one of Disney Channel's biggest hits, running for 4 seasons and earning multiple Emmy Awards. Austin's portrayal of the mischievous but lovable Max made him a fan favorite and seemed to set him up for a long and successful career within the Disney system. But Austin's personal life began to interfere with his professional opportunities while he was still working on Wizards of Waverly Place. He faced multiple legal troubles, including a 2013 DUI arrest and several underage drinking incidents, which violated Disney's strict family-friendly conduct standards. These incidents created a pattern of behavior that made Disney executives increasingly uncomfortable with their association with the young actor. Disney's response was to fire Austin from post-Wizards projects, citing image concerns and reliability issues. According to a 2014 TMZ report, Disney sources described Austin as unreliable, indicating that his problems extended beyond just legal issues to professional conduct concerns. The pattern continued even after Austin left Disney. His abrupt departure from Freeform's The Fosters in 2015 was reportedly due to similar behavioral and reliability issues, reinforcing his reputation as a problematic performer. This next case is controversial and touches on inclusivity. Allison Stoner. She appeared in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, starred in the Camp Rock films alongside Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers, and provided the voice of Isabella Garcia Shapiro in the beloved animated series Phineas and Ferb. She also co-hosted Mike's Super Short Show and appeared in various Disney Channel original movies and specials. But Stoner's relationship with Disney took a dramatic turn in 2018 when she publicly came out as pansexual in an essay for Teen Vogue. For many fans, it was an inspiring moment that showed Disney's commitment to supporting diverse talent. Disney's private response, however, was very different from their public support for LGBTQ+ rights. According to Stoner, Disney removed her from a project shortly after she came out, citing safety concerns for their brand. She believed this removal was directly related to her sexuality, calling it discriminatory and a betrayal of Disney's supposed values. The situation was made worse by Stoner's revelations about her earlier experiences as a Disney performer. In her 2023 memoir, Mindful Matters, Stoner detailed Disney's pressure to conform, including body image scrutiny and overwork that led to an eating disorder, and required rehabilitation at just 17 years old. Moving on to one of the most current and complex cases. Rachel Zegler. The actress was cast as Snow White in Disney's highly anticipated live-action remake of their 1937 animated classic, making her the first Latina actress to play the iconic princess. In 2023 interviews, she criticized the original Snow White as outdated and weird, emphasizing that her version wouldn't focus on the prince or traditional damsel-in-distress tropes.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. The backlash was swift and intense, particularly from conservative media and social media users who accused Zegler of attacking a beloved classic. Her pro-Palestine social media posts also drew attacks, including racist abuse and death threats that required Disney to provide extra security for the film's 2025 premiere. A 2024 News Nation report cited anonymous Disney insiders calling Zegler too dangerous to touch due to her polarizing statements and activism. These comments suggested that Disney executives were having second thoughts about their casting choice and her future with the company. Zegler attempted to walk back her comments in a 2024 Yahoo interview, saying they were misconstrued, but she didn't retract her feminist critique of the original film. Since the Snow White controversy, Zegler has focused on projects outside the Disney ecosystem, moving on to an artist who outgrew Disney. Zendaya. Her Disney career began with Shake It Up in 2010, where she starred as Rocky Blue alongside Bella Thorne. She criticized Disney for overworking her as a teenager, with Shake It Up's demanding schedule leaving little time for education or normal teenage experiences. Her second Disney series, KC Undercover, which ran from 2015 to 2018, gave her more creative control as both star and co-producer. As a producer, she clashed with executives over creative control, wanting more authentic representation, but facing pushback from Disney's risk-averse approach. She also felt pressured to be a perfect role model, which created significant strain during her formative years. The expectation that young Disney stars should be paragons of virtue 24/7 created an impossible standard that limited her ability to be authentic. In a 2021 GQ interview, Zendaya was direct about her feelings toward her Disney experience, saying the environment didn't allow me to be a kid, and criticizing the pressure to conform. She expressed relief at leaving Disney, stating, "I've outgrown that world," making it clear that her departure was as much
much about personal growth as professional opportunity. These stories serve as important reminders of the human cost of corporate success. Behind beloved characters are real people whose lives can be dramatically affected by the decisions made in Disney's boardrooms. If you enjoyed this video, click on the videos on your screen for more.
Oh, now they will. The greatest thing that could ever have happened to Marvel was having Disney buy us.
At first, the creators of Marvel's legendary characters seemed thrilled about the merger with Disney. It felt like a dream come true. But over time, that excitement faded. Now, the tone has completely shifted.
Hi, heroes. This is Stan Lee coming at you. Want you to know, Marvel has always been and always will be a reflection of the world.
The very people who gave life to these heroes are speaking out, sending a loud and clear message. Disrespect will not be tolerated. So what went wrong between Marvel's creators and the House of Mouse? The message that changed everything. Imagine if the most powerful entertainment corporation in the world was finally forced to face its own moral reckoning. It's May 2025, and what started as a grassroots rebellion by grieving families has grown into a movement that's reshaping the entire entertainment industry. These weren't just legal victories, they were declarations of independence from corporate tyranny. The thunderclap moment came when they stood up and said, "Enough!" Every major studio executive in Hollywood felt it. The creator families, armed with nothing but determination and the Copyright Act of 1976, had managed to make Disney, yes, the same Disney that owns ABC, ESPN, and controls almost 40% of the box office market blink. This wasn't David versus Goliath anymore. This was David assembling his own Avengers team.
It's a marriage made in heaven, and with all the power of Disney behind us, well, you see the results. You see movies like The Avengers, Iron Man, they're all tremendous hits.
So it was the luckiest thing in the world that Disney bought Marvel. The settlements of 2023 weren't just legal documents. They were surrender papers from a corporate empire that had finally been forced to acknowledge its creative foundation. When Steve Ditko's estate settled in December 2023 and the other creator estates in June 2023, they didn't just win money. They won something infinitely more valuable, the power to redefine what respect means in the entertainment industry. Let's be crystal clear about what happened here. For decades, Disney operated under a simple principle. We own what we buy, and what we own, we control absolutely. The idea that creators or their families might have ongoing rights was treated as a quaint notion from a bygone era. But these families, these real-life Avengers, proved that the principle was built on quicksand.
Kid, I'm Mickey Mouse. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Won't people think that's a lazy and desperate nostalgia-milking cash grab?
They'll think whatever I tell them to think. Want to be Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom?
Hey, is there an echo in here or something? Yeah, Dr. Doom, I'll give you your own Avengers film. Hell, I'll even give you two.
This chilling portrayal of corporate arrogance in our source material perfectly captures the mentality that these families successfully challenged. What makes this transformation truly revolutionary is its timing. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has generated over $22.93 billion in box office revenue alone. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They represent the value of creative ideas that were once compensated at $20 per page. Imagine creating Iron Man and being told your contribution was worth the same as a pizza order in 1963. The psychological warfare these families endured was immense. Disney's strategy was obvious. Make it so painful, so expensive, so time-consuming to fight that surrender becomes preferable to justice. But they misunderstood something fundamental about creative families. These aren't venture capitalists motivated purely by profit. These are people fighting for their parents', grandparents' legacies. When Marvel sued the heirs using the work-for-hire argument, they essentially claimed that creativity has no ongoing value, that the act of imagination, of birthing cultural icons from nothing, was worth only the initial paycheck. The family's message in response was clear. Our parents created mythos that define modern culture. Their value extends far beyond what corporate America decided to pay them in the 1960s. The ripple effects are already transforming the industry landscape. Warner Brothers, seeing the writing on the wall, has reportedly begun proactive outreach to DC creator estates. Sony, facing its own Spider-Man rights challenges, is reconsidering how it treats creative legacies. Even Universal, which clutches its partial Hulk rights like a security blanket, knows that respect is now a business necessity, not a corporate nicety. history. The true power of this victory lies in what it symbolizes. These families essentially forced Disney to acknowledge that financial success must be shared with those who planted the seeds of that success. It's a principle that extends far beyond entertainment. In tech, in fashion, in any industry where creativity drives profit, the message is the same: respect the creator or face the consequences. Disney attempted to create a monopoly on pop culture mythology, only to be reminded that mythology belongs to the mythmakers first. What the creator families achieved goes beyond individual compensation. They've created a template for artistic justice in the corporate age. Every future creator entering Hollywood now knows they have ammunition if their legacy is disrespected. Every corporation knows that the cost of dishonoring creators' families has now been demonstrated in public, expensive litigation. The emotional impact cannot be overstated. These are children watching their parents' life work transformed into global phenomena. While being treated as legal obstacles to profit, the settlements represent more than financial resolution. They represent emotional justice for families who've carried the weight of feeling invisible in plain sight. For Marvel fans specifically, there's now a deeper emotional connection to every character on screen. Knowing that these characters' creators' families fought for recognition adds gravitas to every appearance of Iron Man, Spider-Man, or Doctor Strange. These aren't just CGI spectacles. They're the visual manifestations of a real-world battle for creative respect. The transformation in corporate culture doesn't stop at Disney's doorstep. The entire entertainment ecosystem is recalibrating. Streaming services are reconsidering creator contracts. Production companies are building more ethical frameworks. Even theme parks are examining how they honor the artists behind their attractions. The message has been received industry-wide. As new Marvel projects continue production, each carries the DNA of this struggle. Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom isn't just a casting decision. It's happening in a world where creator families now have a seat at the table. The power dynamics have shifted irrevocably. The ultimate irony is that by forcing Disney to respect its creative foundation, these families may have actually saved the Marvel brand's soul. Characters have deeper meaning when their creation stories include dignity and recognition. Audiences connect more powerfully when they know the architects of their myths are honored. Looking ahead, the industry faces a new paradigm. The creator families have proven that the little guy can win, that corporate giants can be held accountable, that creative justice is possible. They've transformed the entertainment industry's moral compass, one settlement at a time. This victory resonates beyond Hollywood. Every worker who's ever felt undervalued, every family that's fought for recognition, every artist who's wondered about their legacy, they all see themselves in these Marvel creator families. It's a universal story of standing up for human dignity in the face of corporate indifference. The message is clear and unmistakable. Respect is not negotiable. Creativity has eternal value, and families will fight for justice even against the most powerful corporations on Earth. The Avengers may save the world on screen, but their creators' families have saved something equally precious: the soul of artistic collaboration. This war between the Avengers and Disney isn't new. It's just the latest round in a silent battle that's been raging behind the scenes for years. The legal war behind closed doors. The battleground was set long before the public knew war had been declared. It's 2021. The MCU is riding high on Endgame's success. Disney executives are counting their billions. But in the shadows, copyright termination notices are being filed like grenades thrown into Disney's legal department. The countdown to corporate reckoning has begun, and nobody at Disney is prepared for what's coming. These weren't random families looking for a payday. These were the estates of Marvel's foundational architects, armed with a powerful weapon: the U.S. Copyright Act, the law that says after 35 years, creators can reclaim their work from corporate hands. Disney's response was swift and brutal preemptive lawsuits that screamed, "How dare you challenge our absolute ownership?" Let's talk about what really happened behind those mahogany doors. Steve Ditko, co-creator of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange; Don Heck, the artistic genius behind Iron Man and Black Widow; Gene Colan, who gave us Captain Marvel and Falcon. These names weren't just credits on old comics. They were the architects of what would become a $22 billion movie franchise. Yet Disney's legal strategy treated them like common thieves trying to steal Disney property. The psychological warfare was textbook corporate intimidation. Disney, with its virtually unlimited legal budget, structured its lawsuits to drain the estate's resources. They knew most families couldn't survive a protracted battle, but they miscalculated spectacularly. The legal arguments Disney employed were masterfully cynical. The work-for-hire doctrine was wielded like a blunt instrument. Their position: if you were paid a day rate in 1963, you forfeit all future rights forever. Period. No discussion, No acknowledgement that your creation would become worth billions. Just a cold, corporate, we paid you what we agreed. But here's what the lawsuits really revealed about Disney's corporate philosophy. In internal documents that came to light, the company's position was that these were annoyances to be eliminated through legal pressure, not creative partners to be respected, not foundation layers of their empire. Annoyances. That word alone cost Disney millions in public relations damage. The estates banded together in what became known as the Creator Coalition. They shared resources, coordinated legal strategies, and most importantly, shared emotional support. While Disney's lawyers processed these challenges as legal puzzles to solve, these families were fighting for their loved ones' legacies. The emotional stakes couldn't have been more asymmetrical. Consider the specific characters at stake. Iron Man had grossed over $8 billion in box office revenue alone. Spider-Man, with Tom Holland's portrayals, added another $6 billion to Disney's coffers, even with Sony's share. Black Widow, Hawkeye, Falcon, each represents hundreds of millions in revenue streams. Yet the families who created these icons had to fight tooth and nail just to be recognized as more than hired hands from the 1960s. The first settlement came in June 2023. Larry Lieber and the estates of Don Heck, Gene Colan, and Don Rico reached agreements with Marvel. The terms were sealed, but industry insiders suggest Disney finally realized that the cost of continued litigation exceeded the cost of fair compensation. The message was sent: challenge us, and you might just win. Steve Ditko's estate held out longer. The Spider-Man co-creators' representatives knew they held the strongest hand. Spider-Man wasn't just another character. He was Marvel's crown jewel, especially after the Sony partnership. The psychological pressure from Disney intensified, but Ditko's estate had learned from watching DC's treatment of Superman's creators. They refused to blink. The final settlement came in December 2023. Terms undisclosed, but the joint filing mentioned amicable resolution, corporate speak for "we paid what they demanded to make this go away." Disney had been forced into a corner: continue fighting and risk setting legal precedent that could affect their entire catalog, or settle quietly and maintain the illusion of absolute control. Behind the scenes, industry lawyers report that Disney's legal teams were rattled. For decades, they'd operated under the assumption that their contracts were bulletproof. The creator lawsuits exposed vulnerabilities in a legal framework built on 1960 S-era understanding of intellectual property. The corporate machinery designed to crush opposition had encountered something it couldn't defeat: generational determination. The parallel legal battle with InterDigital Inc. over patent infringement in Marvel films demonstrates Disney's broader legal challenges. When multiple fronts open simultaneously, even Disney's vast resources become strained. The creator families were part of a larger pattern. Disney's aggressive business model was making enemies faster than it could eliminate them. What these lawsuits really uncovered was the human cost of corporate indifference. Legal documents detailed how creators worked in tiny apartments while Disney executives lived in mansions, how sketches worth billions were sold for grocery money, how the architects of modern mythology died without seeing their creation's true value. The settlements created a new legal framework for the industry. Entertainment lawyers report unprecedented interest in creator-friendly contracts following the Marvel resolutions. Studios are preemptively renegotiating old deals to avoid future lawsuits. The creator estates set a precedent that will echo through entertainment law for decades. Disney's attempt to paint these lawsuits as greedy families seeking undeserved riches backfired spectacularly. Public sentiment sided overwhelmingly with the creators' heirs. Social media campaigns highlighted the stark contrast between corporate profits and creator compensation. The narrative Disney tried to control slipped through their fingers like sand. The legal war revealed something fundamental about modern entertainment economics. The line between creator and corporation wasn't meant to be a chasm. These lawsuits forced acknowledgement that creative collaborations require ongoing respect, not just initial payment. Disney's resistance to this principle cost them far more than proactive fairness would have. As litigation dragged on, internal Disney documents suggested growing concern about brand damage. The company that built its empire on family values was publicly fighting the families of their creative foundations. The irony wasn't lost on the public. Every Spider-Man ticket sold came with questions about whether his creator's family was being fairly treated. The settlements represent more than legal resolution. They mark a turning point in corporate America's relationship with creative labor. If entertainment giants can be forced to respect creator legacies, what about tech innovators, fashion designers, software developers? The precedent stretches beyond Hollywood's borders. For the creator families, the legal journey was both vindication and ordeal. Years of stress, uncertainty, and public scrutiny took their toll, but they emerged victorious, having proven that David can indeed defeat Goliath when armed with justice and determination. Their message to future creators and heirs: your rights are worth fighting for, no matter how powerful the opposition. The closed-door negotiations that preceded the final settlements reportedly involved emotional appeals, not just financial discussions. Disney executives, perhaps for the first time, had to hear directly from families about what their loved ones one's creations meant. The corporate machine was forced to confront the human hearts beating behind the balance sheets, the puppet strings of corporate control. Behind every Marvel movie, every Disney Plus series, every theme park attraction lies a shadowy world of corporate manipulation that would make any supervillain proud. The creator battles weren't isolated incidents. They were windows into a systematic approach to creative control that has redefined what it means to own art in the modern age. Welcome to Disney's real magic kingdom, where creativity is commoditized and artists become assets on a balance sheet. Let's expose the machinery. When Disney acquired Marvel in 2009, they weren't just buying characters. They were establishing a template for corporate content control that would reshape the entertainment industry. The VidAngel case from 2016 reveals this strategy perfectly. A small family-friendly streaming service trying to offer filtering technology gets crushed with a $62 million lawsuit. The message: innovation is only allowed when Disney controls it. The beauty of Disney's control mechanism lies in its multi-layered approach. First, buy the company outright. Then use legal warfare to establish dominance. Finally, reshape market expectations to their advantage. The creator families found themselves caught in this exact machinery, fighting not just for compensation, but for the very concept of creator autonomy.
I'd never heard that pretty little face. Do you moisturize?
Sometimes.
You bet your sweet ass you moisturize. There's probably all kinds of moisture on that face.
Thank you.
Gosh, Mr. Stark, you're real handsome. Shut your goddamn mouth, goofy!
This chilling exchange captures the psychological manipulation at the heart of corporate control, maintaining a friendly facade while wielding absolute power. The 2019 Fox acquisition showcases this strategy at scale. Disney didn't just buy Fox for X-Men and Fantastic Four rights. They eliminated a competitor that might have challenged their narrative control. Even the Department of Justice recognized the antitrust implications. When government regulators feel compelled to intervene, you know the power concentration has reached critical mass. But control isn't just about acquisition. It's about redefining value. Disney masterfully convinced the industry that characters created for $20 per page in 1963 had no ongoing value to their creators. That billion-dollar franchises built on these foundations owed nothing to the architects. It's economic gaslighting at corporate scale. The 2023 antitrust claims regarding streaming services expose another control mechanism. Disney wasn't content with owning content. They needed to control distribution channels. When consumers filed lawsuits alleging onerous contracts that stifled competition, U.S. District Judge Edward Davila validated these concerns. The pattern is clear. Total vertical integration equals total control. Consider the psychological warfare employed against creator families. Disney's strategy wasn't just legal. It was designed to exhaust and demoralize. By treating creative families as legal annoyances rather than valued partners, they signaled a corporate philosophy where control trumps respect. The message to future creators: your work has value, but you don't. The Redbox dispute from 2012 provides another illuminating example. Disney accused a DVD rental company of unfair competition, essentially claiming that even secondary distribution challenged their control. The pattern repeats. Any business model not controlled by Disney becomes a target for elimination. What's particularly insidious about this control mechanism is its self-perpetuating nature. By buying critics, influencing media coverage, and shaping industry narratives, Disney creates an environment where challenging their control seems futile. They've convinced many that this level of corporate power is not just normal, but necessary for entertainment production.
Good work out there today, team.
Hulk smash criminals.
Shame about all those apartment blocks, though.
Hulk was preventing future crime.
This dialogue perfectly encapsulates corporate doublespeak. We're heroes for eliminating competition before it threatens us. The creator settlements forced a crack in this control apparatus. For the first time, individual artists' families proved they could challenge the machine and win. This wasn't just about money. It was about breaking the psychological hold that absolute corporate control had established over creative industries. Internal documents revealed during litigation exposed Disney's true philosophy. References to creators as contracted workers rather than creative partners showed how thoroughly dehumanized the creative process had become. Artists weren't collaborators in building mythologies. They were temporary employees whose relevance ended with their paychecks. The corporate control extends beyond just financial considerations. Disney has effectively created a mythological monopoly. By controlling both Marvel and potentially DC, had the Warner Brothers deal succeeded, they would have owned the modern American pantheon. These aren't just movie franchises. They're cultural touchstones that shape generational values and understanding. The settlements revealed another layer of control: information manipulation. When terms remained undisclosed and described as amicable, Disney maintained its preferred narrative while likely paying substantial sums behind closed doors. They control not just the content, but the story of the content's creation and ownership. What makes this control mechanism particularly dangerous is its invisibility to casual observers. Audiences see beloved characters and don't question the power structures behind them. The creator lawsuits pulled back the curtain on an industry where corporate control had calcified into creative tyranny. The ripple effects of challenging this control extend beyond entertainment. When creator families proved that corporate power could be questioned and changed, they inspired similar challenges across industries. The message resonated. No corporation, regardless of size or power, is above accountability to the human beings whose creativity fuels their empires. Disney's attempt to paint these legal challenges as threats to the entertainment industry's economic model backfired spectacularly. Instead, it exposed how that model relied on creative exploitation dressed up as business necessity. The settlements forced acknowledgement that sustainable success requires respecting, not erasing, creative origins. The control apparatus Disney built was designed to be impenetrable. Contracts so complex they intimidated challenge, legal resources so vast they outmatched opposition, PR machinery so powerful it shaped public perception. Yet the creator families found the weak point: the court of public opinion and the principle of creative justice. Disney used to control creative output. We see a cautionary tale about corporate power in the creative industries. The settlements don't just represent legal victories. They represent the beginning of a recalibration where control shifts from absolute corporate power to balanced creative partnerships. Future creators and their families now understand that these strings can be cut, that the puppet can fight back. Disney's empire isn't built on contracts alone. It's built on creative minds that deserve recognition beyond their initial compensation. The creator battles proved that even Disney's sophisticated control system has vulnerabilities when faced with determined opposition and public scrutiny. In the end, the war between the Avengers and Disney wasn't just a legal battle. It was a powerful stand against a system that often treats creativity like a commodity. For years, Disney built its empire on the backs of beloved characters, unforgettable stories, and the brilliance of the people behind them. But when those same people asked for fairness, for recognition, for a piece of what they helped build, they were met with silence, red tape, and closed doors. What started as private negotiations turned into a public reckoning. The Avengers, both on screen and behind the scenes, became symbols of resistance, not to storytelling, but to the corporate machine that tried to control it. Families of creators, lawyers, and even actors stepped up, not just for money, but for legacy, for the right to say, this was ours too. And now, the ripple effects are impossible to ignore. Disney, once seen as untouchable, has had to face real questions about ownership, ethics, and the future of entertainment. Will this lead to a new era where creators have more power? Or will the mouse behind the curtain find new ways to tighten its grip? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. The Avengers may have saved the universe on screen, but off-screen, they just might have saved the soul of Hollywood. What are your thoughts on the Avengers taking a stand against Disney? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more untold truths from behind the scenes, click on the cards on screen now.